lot of people might be heading to a farmer's market this weekend. What could you possibly get at the farmer's market this weekend? And we're going to talk a little bit about beneficial farming from Cropthorne Farms in Ladner. See you in a bit. Listen, if you want to impress me, you don't give me a bouquet of flowers, you give me a bouquet of Swiss chard, because to me, that is an absolute dream. Yeah, we're here in Ladner right now. And Lydia, what are you harvesting?
I am harvesting Swiss chard.
I love Swiss chard. Would this be rainbow?
It is, yep. So lots of different colors here.
Beautiful and nice. I love that too. Everything's just so crisp and fresh. And a lot of people might be heading to a farmer's market this weekend. So what kinds of things might they see on the tables?
We are just starting to harvest heirloom tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. The season's a little early for us this year. And chard. Lots of kales, lettuce, eggplant, potatoes.
Beautiful. Tell us a little bit about your farm. How big is it? How many people work it?
We farm about 10 acres, and employee-wise, we have about 8 to 9, depending on the day.
Including you, and you own this farm. How did you get into farming?
I always knew I wanted to farm. Yeah, I think farming definitely runs in the blood. My parents had their own farm, and yeah, I went off to university to study agriculture and came back home and knew I wanted to get my hands dirty.
And then this is your office, and we keep hearing this banging. What is that?
Those are the neighbors' bird scares. They are blueberry farmers, and the starlings have quite the appetite for blueberries.
I was just going to say, so that's obviously potential risk to your crop because someone is, little birds are taking your blueberries. What are the other risks to farming and to the crops?
Yeah, insects, you can see flooding in some places of Canada right now is an issue, but mostly pests and certain diseases as well.
And you actually grow things that people may never see at a farmer's market to counter that. What do we have here?
Yeah, so this is Phacelia, and it is, it's a beautiful blue flower, and the bees and other parasitic wasps really like it.
And then it keeps the other things from killing the crops.
Exactly. So aphids are one of the crops, not one of the crops. Aphids are one of the pests we have issues with, and all these insects here can kind of do battle with the aphids.
So many great things to learn here. Hey, who's going to go to a farmer's market? Check out the website for all the farmer's markets out there. There's one in your area. We're going to take a little break here on BT. Beautiful farm this morning here.
Thank you.
People might celebrate the weekend by heading to one of the many farmers markets, and a lot of what you grow actually is sold at many of the farmers markets, right?
Yep, that's right.
And it's a beautiful day here in Ladner. We're of course in what I would say is a flower garden.
Yes.
Not everything in here is edible, but people can actually buy flowers at the farmer's market.
That's right. Yeah, there's a few farms that do cut flowers. Yeah.
Excellent. Or in this case, eat flowers. We have several varieties here. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to see and maybe possibly taste.
Sure. We start with some very small marigolds, violas, moving along to nasturtiums, and at the very back there is calendula.
Wonderful. So we've got actually a little kind of selection here of some cut flowers. How much do they differ in flavor?
Well, why don't you give that one a try?
Okay, so this is what again?
That is nasturtiums.
See, this is delicious. I think that the whole edible flower thing, it's a fairly new concept, like only in the last, 10 years or so?
Yeah, so there's quite a few different flavors. That one's a little spicy. Mm-hmm. My favorite is the viola or the Johnny Jump Up. A bit of a minty, so one bite. It's got a little, it's not overly overbearing, but...
So you wouldn't necessarily make a whole salad of here, let me just put some dressing on these flowers, but they're a great accent to maybe someone's...
Exactly. So you can put them on top of a salad. We actually add them all into our salad mix, or just a garnish.
And finally, what about this one? This one looks like I should be putting it in my hair.
That is actually, we grow a few different types of nasturtiums. So that is a red nasturtium.
Oh, yum.
And then an orangey one.
Beautiful. So Jody and Riaz, you have lots of choices. If you want to eat some flowers or perhaps give some flowers to your loved one, check them out at the farmers markets all around the Lower Mainland this weekend. Big bite. But I tell you what, I am just as intrigued by the amount of fresh goodness here at the farm. We're out in Ladner right now. Why should you shop at a farmer's market this weekend? We're going to have those details coming up next as we make our way inside the greenhouse. Tomatoes. We got tomatoes here right now. Cropthorne Farms. By the way, with BC's Outstanding Farmer of the Year. Lydia, congratulations on that. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
How would somebody get into farming if there's a young person out there that really wants to get into farming?
Yeah. I think the best way is to go work on a farm for a season or two. I know I spent some time working on different farms, and there's a lot that goes into farming. So kind of getting your hands dirty and kind of learning kind of all aspects of the business.
It's a big commitment. It's a very physical job. We're, of course, in the greenhouse here. We've got these beautiful tomatoes. What other things are you growing in here? And tell us a little bit about why I'm not seeing any dirt here.
Yeah, so in the greenhouse, this one we have tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers. We put down it's landscape cloth, and there's soil right underneath there, so these are all grown in the soil, but we don't like weeding in here. It gets a little hotter, so if we can put this landscape cloth down, it kind of prevents the weeds there. And,
what a good little trick. What about these strings here? What are these?
Yeah, so we trellis our peppers and tomatoes. So you can see here on the tomatoes, they're quite high up, and every week we come in and wind them around the string to keep them growing straight.
Now, there's a great way that people can also support local farmers as well as get fresh produce. Tell us about CSA.
Yeah, so a CSA, it stands for Community Supported Agriculture, and people subscribe early in the season and pay up front, and they get in return 20 weeks of vegetables, and they can pick up at farmers markets too.
Beautiful. Let's talk quickly about farmers markets, just in a few sentences here. Why should someone buy their produce at a farmers market?
I think the freshness of the produce. You know, you get these, just picked, super ripe tomatoes, so it's the quality and freshness that you get.
And you're supporting local farmers, and you're meeting farmers face to face. For a farmers market near you, go ahead to the website there and have a great weekend, everyone. We're going to take a little break. What will the weekend hold weather-wise? Our Russell Kate has all those details. Up next. Oh, this is tasty.